What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about what I think should be the next COD game to come out in 2026, and that is COD Ghost 2. It's not the game we want, but it's the game we deserve. That's right. I want a sequel to COD Ghost that came out in 2013. I know this is going to be a controversial subject, but I don't care. I think the sequel is long overdue, and we are owed this by Infinity Ward because they have left us hanging with that cliffhanger ending for over 10 years now. So, for those of you who don't remember, Call of Duty Ghosts takes place in modern day time, and there's a strike on the United States from a group called the Federation, which is based in South America. Then Elias Walker and his sons Logan and Hesh, who are a part of a special ops team called the Ghosts, have to defeat the Federation and capture or kill Rourke, who is a former Ghost who was captured by the Federation and tortured and brainwashed. And then, long story short, the ghosts end up capturing Rourke. He escapes. And then Rourke captures them. And then Rourke kills Elias. But then Logan and Hesh manage to escape. They track Rourke down for the rest of the game. They finally catch him on a train. They have to fight their way up to the main train car where Rourke is. And then they end up calling in an airstrike on the train. The train goes off the rails into the river or the lake or whatever, and they're fighting Rourke to try to get out. And then Logan takes a 357 Magnum or a 44 Magnum, blasts Rourke in the chest at least twice, and then Logan and Hesh escape the train car, swim up to the surface, and then they wait on the beach for their backup to come and get them. And then while they're waiting for that, you think the game is over. Somehow Rourke manages to survive. I don't know how you survive 2 bullets to the chest like that. And you drowned pretty much. She drags Logan off the beach, and then Hesh is just left there. I guess he was unable to walk. So all he can do is watch Rourke drag Logan away, and then that's end scene. And that's where we left off, and we've been waiting for the next game ever since then. So I did actually write up a little script on what I think would be a cool story for the game, but we're gonna save that to the end because we're gonna talk about some things that if they did make Ghost 2, some things that I would want to see. So obviously, like I said, the game is way overdue. Infinity Ward just finished up with the Modern Warfare reboot trilogy series, so now's the perfect time. And the game has been over 10 years since it was made, so now the game has nostalgia. So not only will it sell based on the story itself, but also the nostalgia factor. So Call of Duty Ghost did a lot of things wrong, but it did some things right. So the campaign was good. Extinction was phenomenal. Extinction was the best part of the game. They should have been bringing that back this whole time because nobody likes Spec Ops. We've been saying that since Modern Warfare 2 2009. Get rid of Spec Ops. It's trash. And then they finally listened and they gave us Extinction. And then the very next game they took it out and they gave us, I guess, Infinite Warfare had zombies, but nobody remembered that because that game flopped. And then they went right back to Spec Ops with the Modern Warfare remake trilogy, and it sucked even worse than the original Spec Ops. So give us Extinction 2. You don't even have to change anything, honestly. It was perfect the way it was. But the multiplayer, that was the weakest part of the game, hands down. And I think we all kind of remember that to be true. The maps were way too big. The kill streak sucked ass. The flow of the game was slow. It felt like a Battlefield game. And just the feel of the game overall, it just didn't feel like COD. It didn't have that fast-paced, fluid motion to it that the past CODs had. And COD Ghost was the end of the golden era CODs, and that was really sad. But, even though COD Ghost multiplayer did suck, it did do a couple things right. It brought back the specialist kill streaks from Modern Warfare 3, which I'm not sure why that's never returned because that was an awesome idea. It did have a couple cool kill streaks in the DLC through the field upgrades, like the Michael Myers kill streak. And I don't think anybody remembers, but they actually brought back the Harrier. That was like DLC 4, so at that point everybody had dropped the game. So in DLC 4 they brought back Favela, and the Harrier was a field upgrade kill streak on that map. So that was pretty cool. If you ask me, they should have just brought back the Harrier into the game permanently because that would have helped out the game a lot. but it did do a lot of things wrong, like I already mentioned, and like the satcom, that was single-handedly the worst part of Call of Duty Ghosts. That ruined the multiplayer from the get-go. That was the dumbest idea. I can't believe anybody signed off on that. It was so stupid. It wrecked the whole game. And I'm not necessarily opposed to support kill streaks, but if you're going to have them in the game, because I think COD Ghost was the last game to have support kill streaks. I know Cold War had that weird system where you could die and still get your kill streaks, but COD Ghost was the last game to have a traditional support kill streak system. So if you're going to bring that back, you can't have like overpowered shit like the Oracle or a Juggernaut or an Osprey drop. You need to have like non-lethal shit like ballistic vests or UAVs or like the shitty kill streaks that nobody uses like the EMP or the stealth bomber. Those are the kind of kill streaks that should be in support. So I wouldn't mind if they brought that back. The Maniac was pretty cool. That was probably the coolest kill streak of the game, honestly. And Riley, of course, that was cool. I would like to see a return of field upgrades. That's one of the few things the Modern Warfare reboot trilogy actually did right in its multiplayer. And bring back the nuke kill streak, not the chem strike, not the Moab, the tactical nuke from Modern Warfare 2. But that's about, the main things that I would do for COD Ghost 2 multiplayer. And then also, you guys, Mark Rubin was an absolute disaster. One of the most striking stories from the Ghost era involves the producer, Mark Rubin. When Ghost launched and Backlash hit, criticism became personal. Rubin eventually left Infinity Ward in 2015 amid reports of community threats and was apparently placed into protective custody. So the game flopped so bad that law enforcement had to put his ass in protective custody because people were threatening to kill him. So that just shows you guys how much the community revolted against this game. So now that we've talked about what I want to see in the second game, let me read you guys the script that I came up with for the game. After the devastating events at the end of Call of Duty Ghosts, the world remains in chaos. The Federation, though weakened by the destruction of their superweapon Odin, begins to regroup. Striking from South America and Central America in a campaign of brutal retaliation, Hesh survives the ordeal and is rescued, but his brother Logan has been taken captive by Roar, the former Ghost commander turned ruthless Federation enforcer. For 6 months, Logan is tortured and brainwashed in the jungles of the Amazon. His mind is shattered and loyalty is uncertain. Meanwhile, Hesh, now carrying the weight of his father's death and his brother's disappearance, is promoted to the acting leader of the Ghost. Haunted by what happened, Hesh becomes obsessed with rescuing Logan and eliminating Rourke once and for all. The Ghosts begin tracking Federation movements across Panama, Colombia, and Venezuela, uncovering a disturbing pattern. The Federation is creating their own version of the Ghost. Black Ops assassins trained to hunt the original Ghost. The campaign follows Hesh and a new cast of Ghosts. An explosive expert named Vega, a drone specialist called Dagger, and an ex-Federation director known only as Cruz as they fight across dense jungles, flooded cities, and oil rigs to dismantle the Federation's new command network. The climax unfolds in ruins of carcasses where Logan reappears alive, dangerous, and unrecognizable. In the final mission, players must choose between saving Logan or stopping him, as Rourke's final plan is revealed, to unleash orbital weapons, platforms that make Odin look like a child. Ghost 2 ends with the weapon destroyed, but Logan vanishes again, leaving Hesh standing into the jungle, unsure if his brother is lost forever or merely bidding his time for what comes next, setting up a potential sequel. So that's just a little something I came up with on the fly, you guys. Obviously, Infinity Ward could write any script they want. You guys are free to leave your ideas in the comments too. But I think it's time, guys. It's been 10 years. And honestly, looking back on it, COD Ghost wasn't that bad. Yeah, it had a lot of issues with it, I'm not going to lie. But looking at it now, compared to some of the newer shit we're getting, it wasn't that bad. You just got to get some smaller maps in there, some better kill streaks in there, and then, of course, bring back Extinction. And don't just give us 4 maps, because honestly, Extinction was so fun. I played through those 4 maps instantly, and then I was done with it. So we need to have like a ton of maps when that shit comes back. Bring back all the old maps and then give us 4 new ones right at launch. And then 4 more in the first DLC. And then more and more and more. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about getting a potential COD Ghost 2. and I'll see you guys all next time.